right, welcome back, guys. Episode 3. We're still in the NFC North. We're going to talk about the Lions today. Episode 1 was the Bears. Episode 2 is the Packers. Now we're going into episode 3. And then Lions today, Vikings tomorrow. Keep the NFC North, and we'll switch divisions in a couple of days. So, Lions, guys. Interesting team.
Probably the most underrated in the, except for the Bears, but they're the second most underrated team in the NFC North.
Yeah, you got Stafford, you got a veteran quarterback. I worry about him. 2 back surgeries in the last couple of years. Can he withstand the defenses of the National Football League, but of the NFC North? Bears, Packers, all got blitzers coming from the outside. Vikings got a good defense. Can his back withstand a full season? If he can, they got a good chance. If he gets injured, gets hit a few times, his back acts up after a couple years of injuries.
They did get Chase Daniel, the backup of the Bears.
And he can
He won I think he won half the games of this every single season he was in.
Yeah, so he can manage a game. Wide receivers, Galladay, along with Marvin Jones Jr. I think you got 2 above average wide receivers here. They got a couple of good tight ends. Running back, Kerryon Johnson, and you just picked up Swift. I'm kind of high on Swift. I don't think he'll be starting right away. Like all rookies, you give him my rule of thumb is give him about halfway through the season to get the playbook going, feel the speed of the NFL from college. So I don't think Swift's going to really get going until about halfway through the season, but I do like him too. So, saying all that, defensive wise, they pretty much traded Slay for Trufant. Same position there. They lost a couple offensive linemen, but they gained some in the draft. They may be a little better than last year if Stafford can stay healthy. They're just too bad they're in a division they're in. You got some good teams in there that's going to beat them up. Any other division, they're an underrated team, but any other division they can do good. With the other 3 teams they're in with, man, it's going to be a tough fought, hard division for them to pull this one off. But saying that, we'll get into our wins and losses. Like I said before, once we get into week by week, we'll start doing what we think is going to score each game, our weekly picks. This is just an overall team pick, some of the players we think is going to do well, and just an overall season before we get into the weekly picks when the season starts. So, Crazy Sasquatch picks. It's raining out today, so if you hear it's raining. Sasquatches don't smell good at all, but when they get wet fur, they're even worse. So he's hiding out today again. He'll be here one of these days, guys. So, but a rainy day, hey, you don't want him in here. So, anything else to say before we get with our picks?
They did pick up 2 above-average defensive players with Jamie Collins and Desmond Trufant.
So, we'll get going. And I'm wearing one of my Sasquatch shirts. He likes this, so soft Wookie Wookie, Gotta wear it for my Sasquatch buddy. So, if you watched episode 1 and episode 2, we already covered Chicago and Green Bay. So that's why we already have this one filled out. Sorry, Lions. You're coming into the season against 2 very, very tough defenses. Some pass rushers. Tough losses. We both agree the Lions going to start 0-2 in the season, which hate seeing that out of this team. But Bears and Green Bay, we both got them as playoff caliber type teams this year. They just poor scheduling to get 2 tough teams right off the bat. So we'll move into week 3 with Arizona. Sorry, Detroit, you got another playoff caliber team here. They got Hopkins. You still got Fitzgerald. I'm not going to get too much into the players from other teams right now, but they got some weapons. You got good rookie last year, but good second-year quarterback coming in this year. Arizona's going to be tough. I just can't see the Lions at Arizona. Yes, they're going to want to get a win. They're going to want to win pretty badly here. Arizona's going to be a tough team to beat. They're going to run, they're going to pass. I don't know if Detroit's got enough firepower right off the bat to keep up with Arizona. I'm giving them a 3rd loss. I really hate this, but I got to.
So at Arizona with Hopkins and with Kyler Murray, and Fitzgerald, the Detroit defense is gonna struggle a little bit, but Detroit always at the start of the year just beats always good opponents. I think 1 or 2 years ago they beat the Patriots. And as soon as they go into the other half of the season, they start declining in their wins. But in the start of the season, they're always a playoff contender team. Then at the end, they're about an average to below average team. But even though they have Hopkins and Kyler Murray, I think they're 1 year away from actually being a high caliber playoff team. So I think the Lions will pull out this win against.
I got the bad green one.
Against Arizona.
All right, week 4. Oh man, here comes the Saints. Got the Saints coming into Detroit. Not even a playoff caliber team, possibly a Super Bowl caliber team here. If Drew Brees stays healthy with the weapons they have. I think by New Orleans signing Emmanuel Sanders, another fast weapon. I hate to do it to you, Detroit. You got a good team, but man, you're playing these tough playoff type of caliber teams right off the bat, and I can't do it. The Saints are going to be there all year.
And when I was describing Arizona, I said the Lions are always a high caliber playoff team in the first half, but I think what they did with the Patriots a few years ago, I don't think they can pull off against the Saints, because the Saints are all around probably the best team in the whole NFL. So I don't think almost gave them a win, but I don't think they have enough firepower and enough defense to handle Drew Brees and Michael Thomas.
So, a much-needed bye week coming up here, guys, for Detroit. Much-needed bye week. Kind of recoup. I think they're going to kind of have a little fire into their asses when they come out of this bye week. For me, they're 0-4. I'm looking for get things going. They're going to have to really get things going. By now, some of the rookies are going to start picking it up. Swift, maybe splitting 50-50 time with Johnson by now. I'm giving them a win going into Jacksonville, or at Jacksonville. I think if Stafford's healthy at this point, they're going to be very dangerous with the receivers they have. So that's my first win of the season for Detroit at Jacksonville.
And at Jacksonville, Detroit is always a good team first half. Jacksonville will probably be a playoff team in 1 to 2 years when they get a little better wide receiving core. But I think Detroit, with mostly healthy players coming out of the bye, I think they would pull off this win almost easily.
Week 7 at Atlanta. In a dome, guys. You got 2 good wide receivers. Some decent running backs. Decent tight end. Atlanta. I don't know how the running game is going to be this year. Yes, you have 2 top quality wide receivers and Matt Ryan. But I don't know if Atlanta's got enough right now. I mean, I guess it depends if Stafford stays healthy. But if Stafford is healthy, you're talking about a game here, guys. A really close game. And I'm thinking with the running game, Detroit's going to get going. If they can manage the clock with running the ball, I think Detroit's going to have an upset on this one.
These 2 teams, Lions and Falcons, are probably the most even team out of the NFL. And if it was at Detroit, I would give Detroit the win. But since it's at Arizona, I'm giving Arizona the win.
Atlanta.
Oh. Atlanta. The win.
So, Colts. Here come the Colts. Colts in at Detroit. Phillip Rivers. How's he going to be? Is he going to be the kind of the hit and miss kind of quarterback he was in San Diego, not wanting to be there? Is he going to be liking it in Indy? Indy's, everybody's talking about being a playoff caliber team this year. It'll be really good. I don't doubt that they can be. Detroit, they're going to be hungry at this point too. At home, for me, they're coming off two wins. If they're staying healthy, I don't know if they can slow down Indy enough, but I think they probably could. I'm going to get my judgment on this one. I'm going to give Detroit a win over Indy on this one. I just think that Detroit's got the ball rolling. Younger guys are coming up. The defense is coming together at this point. I don't know if Indy's going to be saying the same thing. I know they got Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin on Colts. They could probably start running the ball with them and Mack and do some same things Detroit's going to do with managing the clock. If Stafford's healthy and if Rivers is both healthy, they're both right there together. Not very mobile quarterbacks, but 300 yards passing to T.Y. Hilton and his guys. 300 yards of the Galladay, Marvin Jones Jr. Close game. Detroit's at home. I said I'm going to edge out Detroit on this one.
And with Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton, they're probably gonna have a lot of passing yards. Both upgrades in the Detroit defense, I think it would equal out. Same with Detroit Detroit offense and Colts defense. This is probably one of the closest games. They're probably almost even teams also. And same with Atlanta. If it was at Colts, they would lose. But if it was at Lions, they would win. Since it's at Lions, I think the Lions will pick up a win against the Colts.
Week 9 going to Minnesota. Running on a high with 3 wins in a row. You're going into playing at Minnesota. Loud, rowdy crowd. Got to stop the run here. By now, the wide receiver, I believe, is Jefferson from Minnesota. He was a rookie. By now, he's getting into the game. So you got 2 good wide receivers from Minnesota now. By now, Stafford's back injuries. I mean, I've had a sore back. I wrestled in high school. I've had a sore back. Backs aren't fun to be injured. Halfway through the season, Stafford might start feeling that back a little bit. I don't know yet. I know injuries are one of those things you just can't predict a whole lot. I think Minnesota's going to have a decent defense. They're going to keep coming at him. They got some of the guys I think could cover some of those wide receivers in the backfield. I think it'll be a close game. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a very close game, but at Minnesota in that environment, they're going to drop this one, guys.
At Minnesota, the Lions upgraded their defense. Minnesota got worse on their offense. So I think that the Detroit defense will overpower the Minnesota offense. And it's going to be more even than last year, where the Vikings, I think, won both matches against the Lions. But since Minnesota got worse over the offseason, the Lions gotten better, it would probably be a close match. But I don't think they can win at Minnesota this game against Minnesota.
Okay, next one, Washington comes to calling. I know Detroit's going to be looking at their schedule ahead of them. Okay, we're almost 500 team, not quite. What do we got to do the rest of the season to make the playoffs, guys? Washington's coming into town. It's going to be a must-win. Detroit knows it. Looking ahead of the schedule is tough. Get some playoff caliber teams coming up. This is a must-win at home. And so, for that reason, must-win at home. I'm giving Detroit a win over Washington. I just don't think Washington has everything they need right now to be a playoff caliber team.
And at Detroit, I think in every single way, the Lions are better than Washington. Washington's still going to take a lot of years to get into playoff team, but I think Lions in this game, they're going to win by their defense and maybe by their offense, but I think their defense will dominate this game against Washington.
Going into Carolina in Week 11. Coming off a big win, going into Carolina with Bridgewater, McCaffrey, some okay, decent, maybe above average wide receivers there. Defense lost Luke Kuechly. Carolina may not be the team. I think they're going to put some points on the board because of the players I just mentioned. Detroit, I think, is the better of the teams at this point. If Stafford's healthy, you got a good running game going. I think you match up a little too better. You got better wide receivers on your team at this point. I I think you can slow them down. You're used to playing some very tough teams. You got a very hard schedule coming up. This is another must win. I think Detroit's got to win this one. I think they're overall more of a complete team at this point.
At Carolina, Detroit versus Panthers. Panthers have, I think, a better defense than the Lions and a slight better offense, except for their offensive line. But they have McCaffrey, and Detroit has a decent running game, but I don't think McCaffrey's going to run through the Detroit defensive line because I think their defensive line is average to above average. But I don't think Matt Stafford, he's probably going to get tired over the year. And, like, they always get worse in the second half of the season. So I don't see Detroit winning at Carolina.
Texans, guys. I know Texans just lost their number 1 wide receiver to Arizona. But you still got the bulk of the team here. You still got J.J. Watt. You still got, your number one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Running back wise, I'm not sure how that's going to work real well yet. I mean, they've always kind of gotten by with what they've had in running back and made it work. You name a top 10, top 15 running back has been the Texans in the last 5 years. I mean, the playoff caliber team, they use their running backs the best they can. Like Johnson's went there from Arizona, and he could have a good year for him if they play it right. Not one to sleep on there is running back. Saying that, I just can't see Detroit winning here. I think the addition of Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, you're gonna have that speed. You're not gonna have the quality wide receiver as you did, but you're still gonna have some of that. You're gonna have the playmaker, the running of the quarterback. Stafford, how banged up is he gonna be at this point? I just can't do it, guys. Sorry, Detroit fans. I think Texans going to edge this one out by a few points.
Deshaun Watson probably has a little worse running game than Trubisky, but Trubisky, if you watch the Detroit games, Trubisky just runs away from the Detroit Lions defensive line, and I think that Deshaun Watson will do that. But he'll mix up the passes because he's probably one of the best passers in the league. And the Detroit defense, even though they upgraded it with 2 players, I don't see the Detroit Lions matching up that well against the Texans. So I don't think they can win this against the Texans this year.
So weeks 13 and 14, watch our previous 2 episodes. We'll give you the reasons why. Chicago and Green Bay. Actually, episode 1's Chicago, episode 2's Green Bay. You can watch those, see what happened here, why we ranked them the way we did here. Saying that, okay, you've got 2 more losses against 2 very tough defenses. You're going back to Tennessee. You're going to Tennessee, back on the road. Tennessee, Derrick Henry, bang, bang, bang up the middle. They can manage the game there. They got a very tough defense. But now, the Lions, 5 wins. Is our season over with? You got a tough schedule up ahead of you. You got Tom Brady coming up. You got Minnesota again. I think the wind's going to be taking a little bit out of the sails. Detroit's going to keep trying. Don't get me wrong. They're going to keep trying. I just don't think they have it in them right now. Tennessee's going to be a very tough team, playoff caliber team. Late in the season now, Detroit's getting banged up. Sorry, Detroit fans. I think your season ends with that game there.
And at Tennessee, even if it was at Detroit, I don't think the Lions would stand a chance against Tennessee. But since it's at Tennessee, Derrick Henry would just have a great running game. And I don't think the Detroit defense, when they're all tired, and they have a very early bye week with non-stop games, playoff caliber teams, on the second half of the season, their defense will be tired, their offense will be tired. I don't think they stand a chance against Tennessee.
So week 16, here comes Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Bucks. Yeah, Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Bucks. So, saying that, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay, You got Gronkowski there. You got two top-notch wide receivers, a decent defense. Detroit, you saw your season kind of slip through your fingers. I just can't see, even if it's at home, guys. I think Tampa Bay's going to be too much. They're going to be on a high at this point. Most likely seeing the playoffs come, maybe fighting for the playoff berth or right there by it. Detroit, you're trying to stay alive, but it's a little too late. Tampa Bay, I think, has got just too much firepower. Brady knows how to manage the game. Yeah, he can't run anymore, very little, but he can still dink and dunk it. He can still get it down to a couple of top wide receivers in the league. Sorry, Detroit, just can't see it happening here against those odds.
And I think against Tampa Bay, the Detroit defense will show up for this game and actually be above average defense during this game. But with Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, and with Tom Brady, those overpower their Detroit defense. And with Tampa Bay defense, they will stop the Detroit Lions offense. And I don't think, again with Tampa Bay, I don't think they stand a chance this year.
Week 17, Detroit not going to the playoffs. Minnesota could be in that fight between Green Bay, Bears, of making the playoffs. I mean, Minnesota may be fighting for their lives in this one. Detroit, you may be trying to play spoiler. I've seen Detroit want to play spoiler before and knock somebody out of the playoffs, especially in your own division. So this one here, I can see Detroit coming to play. Want to play spoiler. Minnesota's going to be playing for their lives. At home, you might want to go off into the end the season on a high point. If Stafford's healthy, this could be a close one. Like I said, Detroit's played spoiler quite a few times. Minnesota, you're going to be wanting to win this one awful bad. If you're not fighting for the playoffs, you might be fighting for 5th or 6th seed somewhere in there. But like I said, Detroit's going to be wanting a little revenge here. I think Detroit's going to pull up an upset here in the last week of the season. Just wanting to play spoiler, What we have to lose now is give it our all. Minnesota, if they're in the playoffs with a good record, they may be starting to set some of their players at this point. You don't know. Somebody's banged up. Kirk Cousins, they may not play him as hard. There could be a lot of factors coming into this game. I think Detroit has nothing to lose at this point. They're going to give everything they got.
And up here I said at Minnesota, the Minnesota would win, but it wouldn't be that way at Detroit. Minnesota at Detroit, I said they're pretty even teams. Minnesota got worse, in my opinion, on both sides of the ball. Detroit got better on both sides of the ball, except for their wide receivers. So I don't see Minnesota winning this. So I'm giving the win to the Detroit Lions.
I'm figuring out the totals, guys, here. What do you got, Brett? You got 4, 5, 6, 7. Can't count today, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Total losses.
6 wins.
Yeah. How are we doing the 6 wins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at this. And I'm off one. Sorry, guys. I said we do this on the run, so.
So again, like last video, we have the exact same record.
We'll do it again.
Except for the Bears, where I had them losing one more.
Some different wins and losses here, guys, but I think it all equals out. So yeah, it's all equaling out. 6-10, guys. Missed the playoffs, but get your rookies got them going and stuff. So I said we're not going to give the division rankings yet. We've got Minnesota to do tomorrow, and then we'll let you guys know where each team ranked, where they're going to fall in a division. So here's Detroit. Watch our episodes 1 and 2 for Chicago and Green Bay. Watch tomorrow for Minnesota. So Sasquatch, the crazy one.